If you want to score Band 7+ in IELTS writing, it's important to know advanced vocabulary for describing charts, graphs, and maps. In this video, you'll learn 24 advanced words you must know for writing Task 1. If you want to prepare well for the IELTS, check out our IELTS materials. They include comprehensive IELTS courses, templates, sample answers, practice tests, and much more to help you get the score you need. The link is in the description below. And now, let's get started. IELTS Writing Task 1 provides you with charts, graphs, or maps which you need to describe. If you get a map, it's important to know the adjective forms of the cardinal directions north, east, south, and west. The adjective forms are northern or northerly, southern or southerly, western or westerly, and eastern or easterly. For example, there is a hospital on the most northerly part of the island, or the southern route leads to the river. The next word is figures. This is a great noun, which is a synonym for numbers. For example, the chart shows the latest sales figures for 3 clothing brands. Word number 6 is statistics. This is used to refer to a group or collection of data, like numbers, percentages, or measurements. Let's see it in an example. The statistics tell us that people between the ages of 18 to 25 spend more time on their hobbies than other age groups. Now, let's move on to some useful words you can use when describing trends. When talking about the trends, you can see on the charts and graphs you are given, one of the most useful words is the verb increase. This means to go up or get bigger. For example, the average number of books read increases from 3 books in July to 6 in August. As you can see, when I mention the two figures, I use the prepositions from and to. Something increases from one number to another. Word number 8 is decrease. This is the opposite of increase. This means to go down or get smaller. For example, the average number of books read decreases from 6 in August to 2 in September. The word rise is a synonym of increase. It is useful to know words that have the same meaning, so you don't repeat the same words many times. Let's use it in an example. The amount of exercise people did rose in the middle of the year. Notice that rise is an irregular verb. Rise, rose, risen. The next word is fall. This is the opposite of rise, so it is a synonym of decrease. For example, the number of people recycling plastic fell by 20% from 2010 to 2011. Like rise, fall is also an irregular verb. Fall, fell, fallen. A quick note, you can find many high-scoring sentence starters for IELTS writing in our IELTS writing templates. They make it so much easier to write a high-scoring answer. Here's how it works. Before your test, simply memorize the sentence starters. Then, during the exam, write them down and complete the sentences with your own ideas. This ensures you use advanced vocabulary and answer the question precisely, which can boost your band score. To get all the templates you need, just click the link below. Fluctuate is a fantastic word for IELTS Writing Task 1. Sometimes the data we see on the chart or graph will change a lot, increasing and decreasing continuously. This is the definition of fluctuate. On a line graph, for example, fluctuating data will be represented by a wavy or wiggly line going up and down continuously. For example, car sales fluctuated between the 1980s and the 2000s. Word number 12 is bottom out, which is an excellent advanced word that is used to describe a trend that decreases to its lowest point, usually just before it starts to increase or get better. Here are a few examples. The graph shows that unemployment rates bottomed out in 2008. Company profits bottomed out in the second quarter of the year. Peak is the opposite to bottom out. It describes reaching the highest point. Stock market prices peaked at the end of last year. This word can also be used as a noun with the same meaning, often used with the verb reach. Let's see an example. Temperatures reached a peak in August, with the hottest day being 39 degrees Celsius. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos if we see that you enjoy watching them. Word number 14 is remain stable. This verb phrase is used when there is no change. Things stay the same. Let's have a look at an example. Birth rates remained stable from 1970 to 1990. Word number 15 is slightly. This is a great adverb that can be used with some of the verbs we have seen, like increase or decrease and rise or fall. It refers to a small change. For example, air pollution levels decreased slightly last year. Steadily is another excellent adverb. This refers to something changing in a calm, slow way. Housing prices rose steadily until they reached a peak in 2019. Word number 17 is dramatically. This adverb is used to talk about a big change that happens quickly. Let's take a look at some examples. Oil prices went up dramatically in Europe last year. Customer satisfaction was dramatically higher in Asian countries than in any other area. We're going to move on to some vocabulary for describing and comparing data. It's important that you make comparisons between the data given to you. If you want to refer to data or trends that are similar, you can use the adverb similarly. For example, in Canada, the number of students going to university rose by 5%. Similarly, in Mexico, the figure went up by 4%. This compares the data and also demonstrates that you are able to link sentences together. The IELTS examiner will be looking for these things in your writing because it falls under the coherence and cohesion section of the scoring criteria. This means that the examiner will check whether you are able to connect your ideas well and make sure they make sense. The linking word in contrast refers to something that is different. For example, the percentage of people using public transport regularly in the UK in 2015 was 35%, in contrast to 59% in 2022. Next, let's check out half of. This is great to talk about amounts and proportions. It refers to 50%. For example, half of the students claim to spend more than 3 hours a day studying. Similarly, a quarter of is useful for referring to proportions. It refers to 25%. For example, in 2024, a quarter of the country's energy came from renewable sources. The phrase twice as much as is a great way to demonstrate your English skills. This phrase means 2 times the value of something, or in other words, double. Let's take a look at an example. The chart shows that teenagers spend twice as much time as adults on their mobile phones. As you can see, I added the noun time into this phrase to indicate what measurement I am referring to. Much is only used with uncountable nouns. If the value you want to write about is countable, you can use many. For example, the company hired twice as many employees in 2010 as it did in 2007. Word number 23 is majority. The majority refers to the biggest part of something or the largest number. For instance, the majority of American countries export more products than they import. Minority is the opposite of majority. It refers to the smallest part or number of something. For example, a minority of visitors to London, only 5%, went to museums in the winter months. That's it! That's 24 words you must know for IELTS Writing Task 1. I hope you guys liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!